everybody.
Everybody. Or afternoon.
Yep.
Evening. It is Friday. Ooh, it's Friday.
Finally made it. Man, we're like screeching into today, right?
How about you? Are you screeching into today? It's finally
Slide
Friday.
into that weekend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so we're
like
talking
like you remember big wheels? Remember,
yeah.
Remember
I had a big wheel.
Remember that power brake? You like
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how Friday feels today.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever put those cards in your wheels or anything?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
That? So
I was cool like that.
I was not cool like that because my uncle sent us a Hot Wheel for me, and my dad, I remember this whole conversation that he had. He was like, I'm not a stupid, because I guess my uncle put cards in the wheels and he saw it and he's like, brother, I took those out. He's like, I'm no dummy. So I didn't get it because he took it away.
Oh, that's
he took the annoying sound away so that they didn't have to suffer. But I suffered. This
is so people heard you coming.
I know.
Down the road.
I know.
Right?
It's like a child's horn, you know.
Yeah.
Yep. Those were the days.
Yeah. I miss my big wheel. I see these adults. Have you seen those adults?
Yes.
In giant big wheels.
Big wheels. Mm-hmm. Well, because we need to be children until we're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think if I tried that.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I think if I tried that, I probably wouldn't be able to pick up.
Okay, but we don't need to try adult big wheels because we're small. We would probably fit children's big wheels still.
That's true. That's true.
Well, good morning, everyone. Again, good morning.
We're talking
good
about
afternoon.
big wheels.
We're talking about nothing. But it's Friday, and that's my prerogative. That's my business. But I hope you're having an amazing Friday. Or if you're in Australia, then it could be maybe your day's over now. But we're talking about laughter this week. I was like, what are we talking about? Laughter.
Yeah.
We're talking about laughter.
We're supposed to laugh.
That's a maniacal laugh. Maybe that's not what we're talking about. But we're
maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh. Hey, Rita. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey. Well, with your big wheels.
Yeah, her sister, my cousin.
Yeah.
We're real close in age. When we were little, I used to go to her house all the time, and we used to play on our big wheels. So
that's great. That's great. Okay, so being that it's the weekend, there's a lot more to laugh about. But today we are talking about how do we do that when it's not the weekend? How do we do that when it's not something
when it's Monday?
When it's Monday. Yeah. How do we what's up, everybody? When it's Monday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to walk into work. That's not what I mean. Don't do that. Don't do that or people think you're crazy. But yeah, it's just something that we're going to get into today when life isn't as funny and when you're dealing with hard things. So just know that we're diving into that today. But before we do, I want to make sure you're aware of a couple of important things, our links that you need to be aware of. So in our private heart disease support group, you're going to see a StreamYard link in the description. That StreamYard link, if you click where it says Facebook/StreamYard, that will take you to make sure you're connected to our broadcast. So that'll just connect your name and your face to us so that we can see you when you comment. We don't want to see a blank user when you comment, so we know it's you. So make sure you click that StreamYard link in the description. The other link you need to be aware of, any given week that we're doing these devotionals Tuesday through Saturday, you need to make sure you click that StreamYard, that devotional link. See, that devotional link, because that way you can follow along on the YouVersion Bible app. It will always take you to the devotional we're on any week that we're doing these. So that way you don't have to search for it. But you can do this on mobile, you can do it on desktop, and it will prompt you to download the app if you haven't already, and you can follow along.
Right. And so if you are joining our broadcast for the first time, I just wanted to welcome you. I wanted to welcome everybody to this broadcast, and thank you so much for tuning in to what God has to say to us.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're new to us, you don't know me, don't know us, my name's Javie.
I'm Jessica.
And we are with Underdog Ninja. Here at Underdog Ninja, we stand for three things. That is faith, character, and action.
Mm-hmm.
We believe those three things are the keys to fighting heart disease successfully. If you're looking to get out of that pit, you find yourself in a very dark space in time right now. You're in a hard season of your life. You've been maybe just recently diagnosed. You've had a heart attack or some sort of heart event. You find yourself in a space that you don't know who you are anymore. You don't know what the future is going to be. Are you going to be around? Are you for your family? Are you going to be able to do the things that you used to be able to do? Can you provide? Can you support your family? All those questions. Life comes at us full throttle, even though we're fighting a very serious, deadly disease. We believe here that these three things help us through that process to discover a new life, to discover what God has for us. And that's our mission here. That's why we share this every Tuesday through Saturday morning. We are here to share God's word, to share these devotionals with you live. We don't read ahead. We provide things. We show things that here that we think are relevant, but we don't read ahead. We want to make sure that we are sharing God's word and what God has to say to us
right
live,
in the moment,
in the moment with you,
Yeah.
because we are coming alongside you in this journey.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Good morning, Annie. What's
Good
up,
morning,
girl?
Annie.
Glad to see you here. We want to make sure that you guys always understand that we're doing this alongside you. We don't ever want you to feel like we're preaching at you. We are, the things that we say to you, we say to each other, we say to ourselves. This is stuff that we all need to hear, things that we all need to learn and use to overcome these very challenging things. And one of the best ways we talked about yesterday, a lot about laughter is the key and the beginning. It's the seed to opening up all kinds of stress relief, joy, and really even your authentic self, I guess. And when you can be yourself, how much stress goes away.
Right.
Just saying.
Absolutely.
So that's something that we want to dive into today too.
So before we get started, I just wanted to say something real quick. If you guys are not in our free group, I just want to point out Annie's starting this new, just real creative thing where she's doing this walk that she does. And she's just walking in the morning, and she's going to be doing this live on Zoom. So if you want to join Annie in these walks and just walk with her and talk with her in your daily walks or in your walk.
Yeah. And it's not in the morning, by the way.
Yeah.
It's okay. I just want to make sure they know. So she's doing it in at 5:30 Denver time. She's in not Denver, but she's in Colorado time. But this is on Zoom. And so you can join her. You can just walk alongside, you can talk, you can chat. And this is just an opportunity to have someone to walk with, to get outside and get moving. And it's so generous of you, Annie, to just be offering that up to just whoever wants to join. So if you're not in our free heart disease support group, jump into that group. You'll see the link there. Annie is one of our moderators. She's amazing. She's one of our students as well in our academy. And she's just killing life. Like she's just crushing it.
You want to know an example of someone that has fought this disease and fought this disease hard and is seeing the other side of it where she's living her life to the fullest. She's a great example.
Yeah, if you want to see a karaoke video of Annie, also you should jump into the group because she's been sharing things of courage lately. She's been sharing karaoke videos of herself. So she's really stepping outside her comfort zone, people.
She took that devotional on courage right to heart.
All the way home. Yeah. All the way to the karaoke place.
Let's get started.
But let's get started anyway. We love you so much, Annie. But yeah, it's just a lot of stuff going on in there. And if you haven't, she's laughing. If you haven't yet jumped in our group, make sure to do that because there's a lot of resources in there as well. All right. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So when life is far from funny. So we're going to talk about that today. Okay, Irma Bombeck once said, there is a fine line that separates laughter and pain, comedy and tragedy, and humor and hope. There's a lot of truth in that statement. A great day can quickly go south with a single phone call, a letter, a rude clerk, and a host of other things that assault our upbeat attitudes. But what about when the situation is even more serious? What about when it's more than just the day-to-day aggravations that are bringing us down? What about when you or someone you love is facing a life-threatening health crisis or you lose your job? What happens when the news you receive turns your whole life upside down, when you don't see any hope in the situation, much less humor? What do you do when what you wanted to happen didn't happen and what you didn't want to happen did? What do you do when life is far from funny? Well, I've worked around a lot of comedians, and I've seen some of them go through some major life challenges. Somehow, they were still able to walk out on that stage and find something to make their audience and themselves laugh. Rick Burgess of the Rick and Bubba radio program lost his 2-year-old son, and somehow he was able to deliver a moving, powerful message at his son's funeral. Were there tears? Definitely. But there was also laughter. Shonda Pierce lost 2 of her sisters within a week of each other. But as difficult as those tragedies were, they propelled her into a life in comedy. Comedian Derek Tennant had a random brain bleed when he was in his teens, and that left him in a coma for 3 days. And then he underwent brain surgery that left him paralyzed on his left side. Already blessed with a humorous outlook on life, he became a comedian, and today he talks about his experience in his stand-up act. The first magazine article I ever wrote was about my full-term stillbirth. Later, I wrote about another son's heart surgeries. Those challenges drove me into a professional comedy writing career. But even with laughter, the challenges have kept coming. In March of this year, our 17-year-old grandson was diagnosed with kidney disease, and within only 5 months, he had complete renal failure. He is now on dialysis and waiting a kidney transplant, but through it all, his attitude has been amazing. He doesn't complain, and he hardly ever seen without a smile on his face. He watches comedy videos, loves to laugh, and has a firm belief that God is going to use his experience in some way to help others. Living a laughter-filled life doesn't mean we won't ever feel pain or sorrow. Unfortunately, both are parts of life. We will face some kind of difficulty that we will have to get through. Laughter is a tool that helps us do that. Psalm 28:7. Laughter can get our minds off of our situations, at least for a respite, and many times it can even improve it. So don't pass over those Bible verses about laughter and joy, thinking they're lightweight or unimportant. When you go through hard times, dark times, or times when you wonder if you'll ever smile again, every scripture about joy matters. Psalm 30:11. These verses are a life jacket being thrown out to you, helping you hang on just a little while longer. In other words, when life is at its least funny, that's when we need to laugh the most.
Yeah.
Amen.
A life jacket. I love that.
Yeah. Exactly. Psalm 28:7 says, "The Lord is my strength and shield. I trust him with all my heart. He helps me, and my heart is filled with joy. I burst out in songs of thanksgiving." Psalm 30:11, "You have turned my mourning into joyful dancing. You have taken away my clothes of mourning and clothed me with joy." My clothes of mourning. Ooh, I like that. Good morning, Jenny Ray. What's up, girl?
Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, just this morning we're talking about how our emotions are. We just last week we have been praying for these certain things to happen and everything. Last week we had some breakthroughs, we had some clarity. I mean, and this clarity just kind of it just showed us how much God is in our conversations and how much he loves us and how much he really, well, he's hearing our prayers and how much he wants us to succeed as people.
Yep.
And then today, in the last couple of days, we just get caught up in the day-to-day. We get caught up doing this and this and this and seeing all these things in front of us that seem impossible to do. And we start to fall back into that space where we start to get doubtful and we start to question ourselves and can this happen? And then, so, I mean, this was just a few days ago.
Yeah.
But how many times has that happened to you? God blesses you. It's a move of God.
Yeah.
You know, he's in it. You know, he's talking directly to you. And you feel what is it? You
feel full
and
like just
and loved, and you're on this high. Yet a few days later or a few moments later, so a few things happen, and you're caught up in the negative. You're back into that dark space.
Right.
You know, these things happen to us too. And but we also know that we have to go. We go. What do? We start remembering, but who is God?
Yep, exactly.
Whenever you are in that space where you are struggling with something, maybe it's a diagnosis, maybe it's something tragic has happened. you still have to remember who God is. You still have to remember that he is always present in your life. Yet it may not seem like that because you're clouded in darkness, but the light is still there. You're just not able to see it for right now. And you can't get caught up in that darkness. You can't just concede to it, is what I'm saying. You have to realize that he is there, he is present, and remember when he was there, when he did bless you, how you felt, and drive your attention towards that.
Well, and one of the ways to do that is to, I mean, sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with it at all, but getting that laughter piece in, getting something that picks you up, builds you up, and just makes you laugh. Could be a friend conversation, like a conversation with another person. It could be a video you watch, or watch YouTube videos with cats. I don't know, whatever makes you laugh, and it kind of brings you. It's like a life jacket. It just pulls you back out.
Yeah,
you're just like, oh, I'm okay. I'm up. Oh, I can think clearly now. Oh, I was down there. Woo, Oh, and I wanted to bring this up. This is Becca. Hey, good morning, Becca. Hey, make sure you click that StreamYard link so I can see your face on here. I got you pulled up on my phone, but I'd love to see your little face on your comments. So click that StreamYard link. And depending on what it is, you feel guilty for having the moments of laughter and fun and feel like you should go back to the down.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes. What is it about us oh my gosh, as people, we're so backwards sometimes. We think, oh, we're supposed to be down about this. Oh, we can't, why are we laughing during this moment?
You know, I know that you've actually said those things to me, and I think we both felt that way with our daughter. So there's been times you're at my bedside joking around, right? Trying to
in the hospital,
joking around. And I've heard you say, I'm sorry, this is probably not the moment for that or whatever.
Yeah. And he's always like, nope, it's fine.
But it's great because that's what's getting me off my pain. It's distracting me off my pain. It's helping me to laugh through it, and to have joy in that moment, even though it's very scary. Look, I would rather see a smile on her face. I would rather see her laughing and joking than what I see when I'm going through it, when I'm
being wheeled off to
when I'm being sent off in an ambulance, and she doesn't, that look on her face when she doesn't know if she's going to see me again, and the look on my kids' face. It's because of her lightheartedness that my girls, when we gone through this, they're able to focus, and they're able to not really get caught up in the moment. Yes, it's emotional for them. They've seen me go through this, and but they're able to take it like it's unbelievable the way that they are able to process that moment, that amount of stress at such a young age.
And they do. Jenny says, I think this, as a couple, it's so important to let each other know what they want in that moment. At any moment, really, that is something that is profound in any relationship, let alone a marriage, is allowing the person the space for what they need. Whatever that means. Obviously within reason.
And we've had to practice this with our daughter being in such pain. And we have to look, there's times that we've seen her go through a certain amount of depression, and she's having, she had to face, well, is this how my life is going to be? And it's very distressing. She wants to go out and play. She wants to play with her sister, and she wants to have fun. And just like a kid, she just wants to be a normal kid.
Well, and fortunately for her, she's had a lot of support with medical professionals that help her with things, not just with medicine and things like that, but with, mental health and coping and all this stuff. And so that's made all the difference with being able to have the tools and resources she needs. But one of her biggest tools, we've talked about it, none of those people provided this. It's just a God-given thing. She is full of jokes, and she's always joking, and it's jokes all day, jokes. And she loves it. And it's one of her go-to, it's her superpower. She's able to just click on the humor. And if she can't do it, then we're able to coach her into it or coax her into it within seconds and get her laughing. And she's totally and utterly capable of just pulling herself out of the dark space.
Yes.
Maybe not always on her own. Keep that in mind. Maybe not always on your own, but be willing to let someone else help you do it. And that's what we were talking about in the hospital is he's willing to let me help him, right? Instead of being like Becca said, oh, we were supposed to be like, this is somber and heavy, you know, and like the devotional said, that's when you should laugh the most because it's the life jacket. I mean, it really is like, that's such a great word. It really is like a life jacket because you feel like you're drowning and you need something to just pull you up. Maybe it's not even relevant to something that gives you hope and inspiring. It's just funny. It's just something that brings you out of the depths so that you're able to think clearly and be like, okay, how do I really feel about this?
Yeah.
We talk all the time about the 30,000 foot view where you're up on top of a situation. You're like, okay, looking down on it. How do I really feel about this? What is really going on? What is God saying to me? All that clarity that you can get when you're not drowning inside the situation. Laughter has this innate ability to just pluck you right out of a situation. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm out here now. I didn't see this, and just remember that because when you can see the humor in something, you can get on the outside of how serious it is to your brain. And you can see it with some sort of, what's the difference between subjective and objective? Some subjectivity, objectivity. I always screw those up. Objectivity. Jenny says, and not make their feelings mean something. Oh yeah. And not make their feelings mean something about you. They are their feelings. This is good. Oh yeah. Oh, you're so right. Thank you for that. Because here's the thing. Hey, Ciel's here. What's
Good morning,
up?
Ciel.
Good morning. Here's the thing about that, because that's vital. You could be trying to implement this in your life and be taken the wrong way. So make sure that if you're not usually this person where you're like, oh, everything's a joke. All of a sudden you're joking about everything and people are like, do you just not care about anything anymore? Like, is it me? Like, do you not care about me? Yeah. So make sure people realize what you're doing if it's just completely new for you.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like you said, this is a gift, a superpower our daughter has where she uses her sense of humor. She uses this as the biggest arsenal in her the biggest weapon in her arsenal.
Yeah.
That to combat the pain.
Yeah.
To combat what she has to fight every
day. For sure.
And so, and because of that, I think doctors have really, really kind of wondered or discounted her true pain because she's happy.
She doesn't seem like you're in a lot of pain.
She's joking around, but really she's in a lot of pain.
Yep.
But that's how she's coping.
We've had doctors say, are you in pain right now? And she's like, oh yeah, I'm in a lot of pain. And they're like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't understand the level at which she operates in pain as in a normal mood. Right. We know because we can see it on her face.
Not all doctors, but the doctor, we're talking about like the doctors that really don't understand her disease and what she's going through.
Yeah.
But the doctors that specialize, they really understand what she's talking about. And matter of fact, they're the ones that really encourage her to do it. But think about that. Think about how powerful laughter is. Unfortunately, as adults, we fall into those bad habits, right? We fall into drugs to mask our pain. We fall into alcoholism to mask our pain. We may even just withdraw from people to not deal with our pain. Those things are not, obviously they're not the answer. They're the ones that's what's keeping us in that dark space.
Yep.
It's an illusion.
Yeah.
When we distance ourselves or we mask the pain with drugs and alcohol, those are the things that are keeping us there. It's an illusion that we may think we're feeling better. It's that temporary Band-Aid, but we're not healing ourselves.
Right.
Laughter, humor brings healing. It brings you power. It brings you power to overcome. It gives you the power to really get clarity, like you said, that 30,000 foot view of what's really going on. Because for that moment, you're not caught up in what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
You're above it.
Yeah.
And because you're above it, you could see things a little bit better.
Right.
Is the answer coming right away? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
But because you're getting a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air. Yes.
You're right. You can continue moving forward.
It's like when you're in like you're drowning. I mean, we have all these analogies, but we talk about when you're drowning, it brings you out so you can see and you can breathe. Mm-hmm. But imagine like the stench it must be like when you're in your situation and it's just like you're just breathing the same air over and over again. That's what it's like. I mean, mm-hmm. you said a breath of fresh air, and I immediately thought, oh my gosh, how many negative or consuming situations that just have so much gravity. It feels like you're breathing the same feelings and negativity over and over again. It starts to just like, okay, it's just stale. Like it's terrible. Like I'm just regurgitating and recycling this, right? But if you get a breath of fresh air, like you get that laughter, it's like, oh, I couldn't breathe in that. I couldn't breathe. And like you can breathe now. You can actually function.
It reminds me of the movie we were watching last night. I know you were watching because it was spiders, but
I can't do spiders.
So last night we were watching The Hobbit. We were watching was it the
Desolation of Smaug?
Yeah. Anyway, there's a point in the movie, the beginning part of the movie, that they are the dwarfs, and they're in this forest where there's all kinds of huge spiders, right? Giant
I can't stop talking.
Cobwebs. Anyway, pretty soon they become like in a trance. There was I don't know if it was the cobwebs or something was coming down on them. I can't remember, but anyway, they became
in a trance.
Yeah, they were in a trance. They didn't know where they were going. They became lost. They became very disillusioned,
disoriented. That's
so everybody's just kind of arguing and not knowing. And meanwhile, that's just preparing them to be feasted upon. And the spiders are closing in. But Bilbo, he looks up, and this forest is a dense forest, but he looks up, he looks at the light. He sees this light. He sees the sky. He's like, oh, that's where I need to be. And so he starts climbing this tree. And he's struggling. I mean, he's all disoriented and he's struggling, but he's climbing that tree. He's keeping his eyes focused on that light. There's the sky. That's where I need to be. And he gets finally to the tip top of that tree. And he takes this big breath of air.
And he's above everything.
Now he sees where he's going, because they got lost in the forest. They don't know which way's up.
Yeah.
But now he's above the trees. Now he sees where he's going. He's got that breath of fresh. He got the fresh air, and now his mind is clear. He knows where he needs to go. Mm-hmm. All that the trance that the spiders were putting him under, that's all gone away. Mm-hmm. Now he's able to see where he needs to go, and he's like, "Hey guys, now I know where. Now we're not that far away. It's just right there." He's got the answer, right?
Yeah.
And he goes down, and by the time he gets down there, they're all spun up in cobwebs, and the spiders are about to feast on them.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that that's not too humorous, but it's a good analogy of what the enemy does to us.
Totally. Oh my gosh.
The enemy just throws these things at us. We're in this dense forest. We're on the journey, right?
Yep.
We're in this on this path, and we think we know where we're going. We want to go there. We see where we want to go. We kind of do, but we get through this point in our journey where we can't see it anymore.
Right.
We lose our way.
Yep.
And the enemy is just slowly putting us into this trance that distracts us. And then, oh yeah, where's that path? Where were we going?
What were we doing? Yeah.
Is this the way or is this the way? And then we start arguing with one another.
Yep.
And we're not getting anywhere.
Because everybody's in a trance, by the way. Oh, and then what do? You camp out right there. You get stuck and you just get into all the negative and toxic habits. And you're like, what? What happened? How did I get here?
Meanwhile, you are exactly where the enemy wants you. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
And remember, he's always hunting. He's always trying to throw you off.
Yep.
He's trying to destroy you.
He's always trying to use that
And that's
perceived
what
truth.
that's what the
against
word
you.
of God says, right?
Mhm.
He's always looking to see who he can consume. Just like those spiders. But we have to make a decision. We have to do something on purpose, and that is to look for the light. Even in the midst of darkness, we have to look up.
Yeah.
We have to be brave enough to look up.
Yep.
We have to have the courage to do what it takes to climb above all the darkness. Because once we do,
Mhm.
that's where the clarity is.
Even if
That's
we're the only one, by the way, he was the only one,
Yes.
and he ended up leading them all out.
Even if we are the only one, even if we are the least amongst us, even if
he was the
we
smallest.
are the person that is doubted the most.
Yeah, he was doubted the most. He was the least amongst them. And by the way, not even if you're the only one, especially if you're the only one. If you're the
Yep.
only one in your family, if you're the only one at work, if you're the only one in all the people you know who has this new outlook, you better have it, because everybody else is going to need you to have it.
Yeah.
Because they're not willing to have it, or they're not able to have it, or they're so disoriented.
Yep.
CL says the enemy capitalizes on us getting disoriented. Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those things where if God's calling you to be the one that leads the people out, that is the impact in your circle, that is it's just a little shift, be that person. Because we're called to be the light in the darkness.
Yeah.
Such a great analogy, babe. It's like perfect. I wanted to.
I know you didn't want me to bring up the spiders.
No,
again,
I can't. But it's such a perfect analogy. But look at what Becca said. This is great, and I would imagine that your RAS would start seeing the positive and funny, and not focusing all the negative.
Yeah.
Watch yesterday's.
Yeah, that's exactly what we talked
Was it
about
yesterday or the day before? It's either yesterday or the day before. We went over the RAS exactly that. It starts to
So
see.
remind everybody about that in
Okay.
case they weren't here.
Yeah, so the RAS and what she's talking about is this reticular activating system in your brain. And you can watch one of the previous days where I actually explain the whole thing, but it's basically just a part of your brain that decides that what's important and what to focus on by you telling it what's important. So when you're focusing on whatever new thing you want to do, maybe it's laughter, or maybe it's negative. I mean, whatever thing you're saying, this is important, your brain actually will find more of that. So it's like, when you're finding the laughter and you're finding the new things, the new focuses that you want to have, the new outlook, the more positive thoughts, gratitude, like, oh, this is the new outlook and perspective I want to have. And you continue telling your brain that, it will look for more of that, and it will start to work for you like a machine. It's true. And I've tested it, and I've studied it, and it's absolutely on point with that. It will work for you, and you won't have to work so hard. Getting that train out of the station, we always say, is the hardest part. Turning the Titanic, whatever analogy you want to have, when you're trying to do that very first bit where you're like, you're trying to turn that ship around to go a different direction. That's the hardest part. And once you get going and get momentum, everything starts to work for you. And you start to become that other person that does this naturally. We were talking about that yesterday or one of the other days about how I'm just that person now. I've just gotten to a point where I just find humor in everything. That's what's important to me. I find what's lighthearted. I find what's amusing, and it lifts us out. It lifts me out. My kids are the same way now.
Some people may think that's odd. Some people might think, how could you be laughing at a moment like this?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Who cares? Because look, it's not about whether I think what's happening is funny. I'm not like, you're in a hospital bed. I'm not doing that. It's more about us finding the funny things in life, the amusing things, we're telling jokes to each other. We're watching funny movies. We're amusing ourselves and getting ourselves here into a place of light and joy and uplift. We watch inspiring things too, to do the same thing. But laughter is physically speaking, laughter is the most powerful, most immediate tool you can have in your arsenal. Right. Bam, you're up.
Yes.
But find a thing for you that does that. And we've been talking about that all week. It has to be the thing that works for you. I don't care if you have dark humor, absurd humor, punny humor, cheeky humor. I don't care if you like Little Rascals, whatever it is that is your thing that you just kills you. You're just I can't even watch that without
maybe
just
cat
dying.
Videos, whatever.
Maybe it's cat videos. Maybe it's Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know. Whatever it is for you, do that, because it's whatever cracks you up. You know what I mean? There's these go-to movies we have in our arsenal that are okay, we really, when you're sick, you watch Star Wars because it's your blanket.
Yeah. It's your
Star Wars blanket.
Right.
When I'm sick, I watch musicals. I don't know. That's what makes me feel good. I'm just and I watch them all. But there's definitely funny movies when we need to watch something funny. We know it. We're like, we need to watch something funny.
Right.
I need to laugh so hard that I cannot feel anything but good.
I think some of the hardest times that we've gone through, we'll start binge watching stand-up comedy.
We'll
And,
just go for it.
And think about that. Think about what kind of example that you can make with the people around you. I know that she's been a tremendous example to me in my fight, in this fight against heart disease, in the midst of this.
Thank you for the pictures, Thea.
In the midst of my pain, and where she's been so lighthearted and just making me laugh, and that has taught me so much about myself. It taught me so much to not take myself so seriously, even in a hard time like fighting a heart attack or having some sort of life event.
Exactly. Did you see what Becca said? Do you do laughing yoga? Tell me what laughing yoga is.
Oh no, I've been. Have you been
meaning to tell me? I've never heard of this.
I actually came across it. I'll tell you more.
Okay, but one of you needs to tell me what that is, because that sounds like my jam.
In some of my research, I come across it. So
okay.
It's like, but I have to dig into it.
All right,
a little bit more.
Laughing yoga. We shall be advised by Becca.
Yeah. So
bring us.
Sometimes doing yoga is not so funny, but
so if you're not good at yoga, it's hilarious. The laughing love bugs are on Clubhouse. Oh, okay. They do it every day.
That's awesome.
All right. Okay. So let's see. What else did this say? Because there was something else I wanted to dive into really quick. There was this. Oh, this is such a great devotional. I could talk about this all day. I love what she was talking about in this devotional about her son and all these people in her life that have all of these problems, yet their outlook. I mean, that's really the thing. When we talk about helping people overcome health crisis, we talk about overcoming heart disease and all these other health crises. We're not talking about curing it. We're not talking about, when we say overcome, we don't mean, oh, it's gone now. We've overcome it. We're on the other side and it's gone. Like that, maybe that will or won't happen. We don't have everybody's like diagnosis planned out and pegged like, oh, this is what this is gonna do. No, we're talking about overcoming it up here, in here. We're talking about overcoming it with God. We're talking about being the person that gets through those hard things, that takes adversity and flips it on its head and says, this is now my tool. This is now the reason I'm gonna have the life I wanna have. This adversity is gonna be the way, the new path I take to having even more power in my dreams and goals and aspirations and the calling that God has on my life.
Right.
Like, right? It's going to be the reason why I have more power in what I do.
Right. And, one of the things I've found with people that have, you look back at other people that have gone through a point in their life that they've had to overcome. They're the ultimate underdogs.
Yep.
Right. Not only yes, you have that tenacity, you have that part of you that wants to overcome and wants to fight back, but sometimes it's so overwhelming. It's so dark. How do you pull out of it? And what I've noticed by the people that I've researched that have been those types of underdogs, having that underdog spirit, they have this ability, or there's this point in their life, this shift, that they try something new. They try something that is passionate, means something to them. Even if it could be something, I've seen people do something that they've always wanted to do, or something that they've done and they go back to, and they just throw their life into that, and it brings them great joy. But I would like to encourage you to try something new. If you feel stuck and you're, like you said, you're like in this funk, okay? And try to open your mind to something new. Try something that you've maybe always wanted to do, and you just never had time to do it.
It doesn't have to be big.
No.
It just has to be a pattern interrupt. You have to interrupt the pattern of whatever you're doing. And people, they always want to say, well, what do I even start? Something new. But look at where I'm at right now. And I'm like, yeah, but where you're at isn't working. So whatever you do that's new isn't what you're doing now.
Right.
Remember that. It could literally just be, I'm going to start watching this other like show. I'm going to start watching something. I'm going to go out and intentionally, on purpose, integrate a pattern of laughter into my life on a level that I've never done in my life. I'm going to take an hour a day and intentionally watch something that just kills me. Like I'm crying, laughing. And I don't care if you watch the same movie every day for a week.
But you know what feeds us? What helps us? What helps us is giving.
Yep.
For when we're doing something for someone else, yeah, we obviously we do that for our kids and everything else. But when we could do that for a stranger or someone that we're maybe just an acquaintance, just to help them through their problem or to be generous to them, showing gratitude to the person at the grocery store that's treating you like crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Those little steps, look, we talk a lot here about being 1% better. Those things are all about being 1% better. Taking that first step to being a new person, trying something
every
new.
day.
Look, if it's not you that, look, this is me. Okay. And I'm speaking to myself right now. You're not the type of person that's really outgoing, that you just want to meet everybody and you go out and you just talk to everybody.
Right.
I'm a very reserved person. But one of the things I've been trying to work on is not being that, is being more outgoing, showing more gratitude, thanking more people, smiling at more people rather than just being so focused and serious, right? Smiling at a stranger, just opening a door for a stranger, just showing more gratitude and respect for your fellow humans, right? I think that is taking that 1% better. It makes me feel good. It makes other people feel good. When you smile and they smile back, that makes me feel good. You may be changing someone's trajectory for a bad day by just saying thank you. So by just stepping out of your own comfort zone for a moment, stepping out and above the darkness for a moment, it's going to pay off.
Well, exponentially. I mean, think about the impact that you could have on someone else's life by just making them feel seen. Even in their negative, like in the grocery store, like their negative, terrible, like mood. And they're just crapping all over everyone and everything. And you make them feel seen and validated in their terrible mood. You know, have you ever, this is such a great example. It just came to my mind. Have you ever been in a store or a restaurant and this kid is doing everything they can to get everyone's attention? I mean, everything. I do this all the time. I've done this for years, a very long time. I've always done this. So I'll see these kids in public places and they're just like, and they're trying to get everybody's attention and they're crying and screaming and everything. And I'm like, I make sure they know that everybody sees them. And what do? Do they keep screaming at me? They're like, they're like, oh, they just wanted to be seen. They just want to, and then when they're seen, they're like, oh, everybody sees me. Like, imagine, you're not going to call someone out negatively, but you're not like, we all see you, but I mean, with grown adults anyway, but I've done that where, I've seen people in public and I just validate that they're alive and that they are seen. Sometimes people are acting out just like kids because they want to be seen. They want to feel like alive.
Usually I throw those kids another look. Like, yeah, I see you.
Yeah.
Boy, I see you. Right?
Yeah. And they do the same thing.
And exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So, but, so yeah, CL mentions this show last night, man. CL, that was a great show last night. I really got a lot off the show last night. It was a lot of fun, but the doctor that he had on his show last night there was a moment where she was, and I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but she was talking about, us really getting off our COVID butt. We all kind of grown this COVID butt where we need to get out. We need to step out and do new things. And we need to, she's talking about healing, taking some natural healing and using plants as part of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great show, and she had some really great pillars to think about. And just this is a kind of side note, but I do want to mention this because it was really powerful. She has 4 pillars that she believes on, and that what was it? Water, right? Sleep. Oh, and movement and nutrition.
Yeah.
And when she was talking about movement. That's when she was talking about COVID, but really, I think during COVID, we all fell into that dark space, and we kind of just sat there, and we just let all those negative thoughts come across us. We didn't want to see the light. We just found ourselves in this comfort zone that we didn't. This is how we thought life was going to be. And then we got caught up in our depression and then this and then that. And now is the time to get off that COVID butt and see movement. Because look, when you're allowing that to settle in, that is feeding your disease. That is feeding your depression. That is feeding the darkness. And we, by moving, by taking one step out your door, just 1% better, guys. One step out your door, then the next, a few more steps, maybe down your driveway.
Right.
Putting those things together and just continue to do that consistently.
Pushing yourself a little bit every day.
Getting better and feeling better. That's all it takes. Drinking a lot of water, right?
Yeah.
Making sure you get a lot of sleep. Look, one of the things that she talked about last night too is kind of taking just getting all these negative thoughts out of your mind. We talked a little bit about, it's funny, she brought up a gratitude journal because we mentioned it yesterday too. So I think really God's trying to tell us something about
reframe your mind around gratitude. And you bring up COVID, which is such a great example of where laughter fits in. Okay. So I'm going to paint this picture, and I want you to think, as I'm painting this picture around COVID, how this applies to any health crisis too, how it applies to the heart disease community and in anything. But COVID's such a great example of where laughter fits in, because there's so much absurdity around this situation. So, I mean, oh my gosh, you can really get consumed by how absurd and and I'm not even talking about political stuff. Like, I'm not even going to get into that with you guys. I'm not doing that. I'm actually not even very, I'm not extreme on political, and we're not. We're very balanced over here. But so I'm not going to get into that. So don't expect that. But just as a general human situation, like, who predicted this craziness that we're in for the last, I don't know, year and a half now? Holy cow. Who predicted this is what our life was going to look like for right now? And yes, we're all like, I can't wait till this is over. But this has changed the entire trajectory of society, no matter how back to normal we get. But it is there's so much not just absurdity. There's another word I'm thinking of. It's so there's no way you could predict this. It's so off the charts, I guess is my point. Yeah. It's so extreme. And so imagine there's this whole, we all haven't been in this. Okay. So this isn't just the heart disease thing. Where, we all have different stories, and not everybody's fighting heart disease. Everyone's fighting this COVID thing, right? Everyone's fighting the worldwide pandemic thing and the quarantine. But look at what happened to the world. So there was one part of the world who was just consumed and drowning. I mean, absolutely. And I understand there's deaths involved in everything. I know that. But you know what? There's deaths involved with heart disease every single minute. There's deaths involved with all kinds of things. People have heart attacks constantly. There is 8% of people surviving heart attacks. Okay, so that's, a lot more people not surviving. So we are all used to, in this community, this kind of statistic. And so with COVID, I'm not minimizing anything, okay? But what I will say is that there was also a whole other separate part of what happened during COVID, where there was TV shows that were started, web shows that were started, podcasts that were started, whole movements that were started.
Think about the innovation around birth.
Well, not just that, but no, I was going to say about humor. about lifting everybody up, like some good news.
Oh yeah, some good news.
I
yes.
mean, John Krasinski and his wife doing some good news with SGN, which was one of the best things I ever saw come out of anything, because it was immediately this response of, let's just bring ourselves back out of this, okay? And let's look at the good that's happening, but just funny like stuff, like all of the the satire about COVID and all of the stuff that's like what's happening with humanity. The quarantine videos on the internet are amazing.
Yeah.
Facebook changed exponentially with the quarantine, like whole thing that happened with COVID. I mean, the humor that I saw on Facebook started to be hysterical. Now there's a balance in the universe. I get that. So there was all this really scary, dark stuff going on. Everybody was like, oh, this is like, I don't even want to. I had all kinds of friends dropping off of social because they were like, I can't be on here right now. But then the other hand, all this hilarious stuff started happening during COVID where everybody wanted badly to start feeling better about something. And so there was all this making fun of things and like all these hilarious videos. People were home. So they were making all these really funny videos and really connecting over, let's look at the light side of this. Let's look at how silly this is. Let's look at what are we all doing? We're all at home in our pajamas.
And that's what I was talking about. Really what I got out of this, what she was talking about, this doctor on CL show was a COVID butt. We all became butts, really, because we got caught up in the moment. This has never happened. This is a worldwide thing. So it affected us all. It was affecting us as adults. It was affecting our kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Affecting our dogs. Really.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, why are you home all day?
But there are some of us, like I was just saying, we retreat. We isolate.
Mm-hmm.
We get stuck in our silos. Okay.
Yeah.
Silos are these big concrete buildings that, you just store stuff in. And I think maybe even like a nuclear reactor, you have these silos. But if you ever seen like a farm, you have a farm, they have these silos and they fill these things with hay, but they're concrete. They're made of concrete. They're insulated. They're isolated. Mm-hmm. You can't see out of. There's no windows there. Yeah. And there are some of us during COVID, we retreated into our own silos because we were quarantined. And this is, we created these physical silos, but then we created mental silos. Yeah. And people, there are a lot of things, there's some bad stuff on social media. I get it. All right. But you withdrew from people. Not only social media, but
not just social altogether. Distancing, but distancing of all things.
Right.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, but there's also another group of people that saw what God was doing. Yep. They had their eyes open. They were above that darkness, right? Mm-hmm. And they got clarity and seeing what God was doing and how he was moving on a daily basis during a worldwide pandemic, when things weren't so good.
When people were blaming God, they were following God.
The headlines were pretty scary. Yeah. Yet God was still moving. And the people that saw that, the people that reached out and created those connections, those are the people that really are ahead of the game. God has blessed them. God has shown them a new way of life. And this is something that their life has now changed.
Ooh. Yeah. You bring up something it just occurred to me that it just occurred to me. I feel like God gave it to me though, because it's powerful. Okay. So I don't think it was from me. Okay. I'll tell you that. When this kind of thing happens, you just said that these people are the ones that are blessed. Like somehow, well, we all go, well, yeah, those people are good in crisis, but I'm not that person. That person over there, like, they're blessed with like, I can just overcome anything or whatever. And that's not how it is. When we're talking about Bilbo Baggins in the Hobbit and how he rose above, he was the least of them. He was the most counted out. He was the underdog in the group for sure. They kept counting him out. He kept showing up, but they kept counting him out. No matter how much he proved himself, they kept saying, you're just a hobbit. You shouldn't be here. So whatever. But so he kept, saving them and like all this. And so he was the one that was meant to be there to lead them out. And he got above, right, the trees, and he was able to see everything, and he was able to take control of the situation. The people in these situations, heart disease, COVID, anything else, losing financial crisis, losing a job, I don't know, whatever. When you're the one that says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this situation as an opportunity to see what God wants to do. Those people lead the people out. Those people are the innovators. Those people are the leaders. Those people are the light. Those people are the ones that create all the change in this world, not the people who get consumed and buried and isolated. And that's not good for you to be isolated, but it's also not good for anybody else. And if we want to see change in this world, we need to be the innovators in everything, meaning we need to be the people, the leaders. You could be a leader in your own house, for crying out loud. You could be you're the agent of change. You're the catalyst in the room. Be the thermostat, not the thermometer. Be the one that makes the decision that I'm driving everyone this direction. And laughter and changing your outlook can be the most powerful thing you do in a circle of people around you. Absolutely. And I want to say, because think about this. How long have you been trying to impact your family?
A long time.
53 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Just recently, because we've been putting ourselves out there so much, this man's family has been reaching out to him more and more and being inspired. And it's a blessing.
It's not about me.
No. I'm saying it's just one of those things where you always want the best for your family. You always want it's those people, but he didn't do it. It's not about you. I know that. I know you. It's about, wow, I just needed to just be the leader. I just needed to do what I do, be who I am, go after God, and then help people do the same thing. And then you know what? They see the light. They do. Not everybody, but for the most part, they just need someone to tell them. I mean, our moderator, Annie, think about this, Annie, and everybody watching. Annie didn't change who she was in the last 20 days, but I said, hey, I would love for you to moderate our group because you've really come a long way. And I absolutely think that everyone needs to hear what you have to say and everything. And you're just so inspiring and your story is amazing. This woman has exploded the internet in the last 2 weeks. She could have been doing that the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying to you, Annie, why weren't you doing this? I'm just saying that we all don't realize our potential. We all don't realize what we could be doing. I just asked her, and all of a sudden I was like, who are you? Like, I had never seen this side of her to this level. I mean, I even saw her entire transformation in the last year with coaching her. Right. But I did not know this person existed. And I don't know if she knew this person existed. But when we put ourselves into new shoes and a new situation and get outside our comfort zone and try something new, we don't realize what's inside. And God's calling us to look at what's inside of us. Yeah. This outlook, this thing we could use. So when things are down, go after the thing that you could be doing during that time. During COVID, it was probably, I don't think we had anything not anything negative. I mean, obviously it sucks, but I just mean we used that time to see what God was doing. We built more and more and more of our business.
So this is a great example. CL says this.
Yes.
God brought us together.
A lot of people.
COVID. This is
a lot of people were brought into my life during COVID.
Look. I stepped out. I had to step out of my comfort zone during COVID. Mm-hmm. This is what we started here. We started this.
Yeah. This is what happened during COVID.
We started our foundation.
Yes.
And then we started trying to connect with other people. And then I came across CL. God put us in front of one another. Mm-hmm. And it's been a great blessing. And
tremendous blessing.
He's just a powerful man of God. He's doing a tremendous work for God.
And he's family.
And exactly right. And we, my friend, we're going to do great things. I know it because God has he's really spoken to, I think, both of us. And I think really God's going to move here. But the thing is that we would never have been able to meet and the people that think about, I hear CL's story and everything that he's been through, and he's had to overcome so many different challenges, and the people that he is touching worldwide is just amazing to me, and the people that he's talking to and those people and how they're affecting people. Look, what all of us have in common there is that we listen to the calling of God and we take that step, one step out the door, one step ahead another. Annie said earlier, I saw it, Annie, here we go, during Christmas. remember the snowman in
Yeah.
the Christmas movie?
Yeah.
One step in front of the other. We're just like these.
She says, I'm not singing it.
Remember that. Okay. Just one step in front of the other.
Yes.
I think
Move your feet.
he was all, he's big and clumsy and everything, but that's all he had to do. That's all we have to do. And when you do that, you are allowing God to move in your life. Movement. Okay.
Yep.
Movement brings life. Okay.
Yes.
Stagnation leads to death.
And disease.
Exactly. So just remember that. Look,
Irene's here. And she says, we need to surround ourselves with the ones who lift us, encourage us, support us. It's tough when there's no one around that could do that for you. So make it your own. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your fire and your blue hearts this morning. I love that.
She's all quiet and then she comes in.
And she's like,
right? Exactly.
So this has been amazing today. Like this devotional, probably I have to say, I always say, oh, this has been really good. This is probably my favorite one we've ever done.
You say that every week, but yes.
But no, I don't say it's my favorite. No, they're really good. But I can legitimately say this is, if I was to pick a favorite, this would be it, because God has spoken things that are so my language during this one. So for me in particular, this has been my favorite because it keeps me above those trees. Like I'm up here, I'm seeing things, and that's exactly right. When things are the darkest, we need to get the lightest. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to go. Look, if today has been a blessing to you, like it's been a blessing to us to share this with you guys today. If you got something out of today, seen some value, please hit like and share this. Share this with your family, your neighbor, your dog, your cat, whatever. Share this with them. We really, really appreciate it. And, we just love you guys. We appreciate you guys taking the time today and listening to what God is saying to all of us. Yes, absolutely. And if you're watching on our YouTube channel, we really appreciate your support there. Please make sure you hit subscribe and follow us on YouTube and hit that bell icon if you want to be notified for any future content or broadcasts. Right. And remember, we are going to be here tomorrow morning. Yes. We're here Tuesday through Saturday, 8 a.m. Pacific time. That's right. Love you guys. All right, guys. Bye.